Hi traders and welcome. In this video, I'm going to do an update on the S&P and the Nasdaq. So let's get started. And we're going to start with the S&P. This is the futures contract, the ES for the S&P. And if you've been following me, nothing's changed a whole lot. I've been calling this an expanding flat. And I said that the high for the third wave was back in October. And we had an A, B, ending diagonal C wave to complete the fourth wave. And now we're going to go and break the high. And I am feeling very confident in saying that the fourth wave is in. That is a huge bounce up. Would it got to be what, almost 10%? 8.4% bounce so far. And I think we're not even done with this initial move up. So yeah, things are looking good. If you're not in, I don't know that this is the greatest place to be buying. When we drill in, go down to a 1 hour, go down to a 30-minute. I don't think it's quite done. I think they still have to go break the high from Friday, 6888. I think it has to be broken one more time, just because I got here, I've got 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. And then this, this looks, it's a little hard. It's harder to count on this than when we look at the Nasdaq. This looks like 1 and 2, and I think this is 5 ways for 3, 4, and then 5, and that'll complete the fifth wave of this third wave. But then I still think when they do break it, we still got this. See, this one, the S&P is a little bit hard. It's either this is 1, 2, and then this is 1, 2. And so then we're going to get a 3 up above the 688, and then you're going to get a 4 and a 5, and then a 4 and a 5. So there's a lot more up, but it's all just going to be finishing like 4s and 5s. And so it's going to be just real choppy and not huge moves like we've had now. And this right here, it gets a little hard. I really think on the S&P that this is 1 and 2. When we look at the Nasdaq, we're going to see a slightly different pattern. But yeah, like, how much is left on this to go up? Yeah, not even 0.5% to go break the high. And then once that breaks, there'll be a bigger correction. Right now it's here, but this will shift up 6813. When they break it, then this box will move up a little bit. But yeah, it's really, this is going to be difficult to be buying, because at any moment this pattern can change. I'm looking at this as this, it's very impulsive, and I'm going that this is 1 and 2, and we'll get a 3, a 4, and then still more up for 5. But this could change. This could be like A, B, and now you're going to get a 5-way move. And not a 4 and 1 more up. So yeah, buying, I think if you can just have some patience, you're gonna get, like, eventually whatever this whole thing is from the low on the 30th of March all the way up, it'll be something higher, I think, than 6888, but not a whole lot, I don't think. You're gonna get, a pretty healthy correction. It could be like a 50% correction here, which, now you're getting down into, like 6,600 or so. Just depends on where this thing ends at. But yeah, like buying up here, I think if you can just have some patience, you're going to get a great buying opportunity. Because I don't think, if we go back out to the floor, I don't think that they're going to go and break that high, all-time high, 7,043 on this chart. I don't think they're going to do it in one straight shot because on the lower time frames, you're getting divergence now on the MACD and the RSI, and I can count the waves, and I think we're ending, a fifth wave soon, and then it's just a matter of like what was all this. This, like I said, this could be like all just A B, and now we're doing like some type of C wave, and then we get a big correction, or this could just, like I said, this could be a 1 and 2, and then when it does break this to complete this fifth wave, you'll get a 3 wave correction, but it's not going to be very deep, and then it'll go back up if they're going to make a 5 wave move. But like I said, like that wouldn't even be like 1% probably. So it'd be just, if you're a scalper, maybe you just want a quick in and out, but it gets hard because at any moment when somewhere up here, um, we're gonna I think we're gonna get a big correction. Like I said, I don't think we're gonna go break the all-time high in one straight impulsive move. So patience, I think, is the name of the game for if you want to get into the market. If you're in it, you got several ways to play. If you into options, obviously start selling upside calls or trim a little, take half off your positions and get ready to buy again lower, or take it all off and wait for the bigger pullback. All right, Nasdaq. So very similar, same thing. So if we look out at this pattern, yeah, this ended up being just a big W, X, and then a huge Y wave. And in itself was a W, X, and a Y for the Y wave. So if you like to label things, W, X, Y. And now it's taking off. So I see a lot of noise in social media world that's saying that this is all just a correction up, and we got a lot more down. And I don't know. Based on the pattern that I'm seeing, this does not look corrective going up. This was corrective. There's no way there's no 5 wave move there. So I only can see the bullish pattern that we were in the 4 zone, where the fourth wave should correct down into this zone, 24 down to 22.5. It came down into that zone and is exploding up. So I'm only looking at the bullish patterns, and I think that the 4 is in, and now we're going to go up for the 5th wave and break the all-time high. So if we drill in onto this chart, same thing. This one is just a lot easier to count because it's a clear 1, 2, all 3 came right down to the bottom of the 4th zone perfectly and is bouncing up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so if the Nasdaq is going to go up and break the high that it set on Friday, I'm sure the S&P is going to follow suit. So that's why. Now on this one, I think this was a running flat correction, where like on the S&P, it looked more like this was. See, it was because on the S&P, this high on Tuesday, it broke the previous high. And so on the S&P, it was 5 waves like up to about there, and then it corrected. Where on the Nasdaq, they didn't break that high set on Monday. Just came close, but didn't quite break it. So to me, this looks like, well, this is very impulsive. So that's your impulse, and this was your running flat correction. Now, there's going to be 2 ways to count it. Either this is 1 and this was 2, or this is A and this is B. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and now this is ending the fifth. This would be 5 waves for the fifth wave. Then when this happens, then it's a matter of, will this correct for the 4? Because then that'd be 1, 2. That would be, we're finishing the third wave up here. Well, we get a short 3-wave correction and then go back up for a fifth wave. That'd be nice, because then super easy to figure out what they're doing. Otherwise, like I said, this could be A, B, and then this is going to be a C wave. And then this correction is going to be the bigger correction that you're waiting for if you want to get back in, or in at all. Because once this corrects down, I don't know, 24, low 24,000s or so, then that's going to be the perfect place to be buying. But yeah, buying up here is going to be really tricky, because we don't know if this is A and B or 1 and 2. But even if it's 1 and 2 and it does come down like for a third wave, you're only going to be playing for like this much, which would be, let's say, yeah, what is that? 2%. Yeah. So like I said, if you're a scalper and you're good at figuring out what this is doing here, yeah, then you can play for that 2% move. But I think waiting for the bigger pullback would be a wiser play. And the same thing, I don't think they're going to go and break the high on this initial bounce. We still got, what is that? Yeah, almost 4% to go break the high. I don't think they'll. I think they'll kind of get it close, but then I think they'll be coming down for that bigger pullback before we take off. All right, that's what I see on those charts. I think just patience is best if you want to get in. And if you're already in, then you just need to have some kind of strategy to play for possibly a bigger correction coming in the coming days, or maybe a week at most. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.